I hate to say it, but gamers, we're on enemy territory right now. When I'm talking about the people that are producing content for gamers in the Western world, it seems like all the developers, everyone that's producing the content from industry leaders like Sucker Punch, Insomniac, Microsoft, Sony, California, all these production companies, all these developers that are making content for gamers absolutely hate gamers' guts. So much so that they're celebrating the assassination of someone with differing ideals and hoping that same painful death happens upon all the gamers that disagree with them. And this is what we're hearing kind of from Ghost of Yotei developers, where they were celebrating the death of their political enemy and they were just hoping that all gamers that believe in the same things follow the same fate. And this is the extremism that we're seeing being borne out in the gaming industry, where there are no middle ground anymore. The middle ground is submission or death, and that's what we're seeing right now all across the landscape. But this is part of a pattern exposing the deep-seated animosity in the gaming industry toward anyone who doesn't align with their views. But before that, let's set the stage of the situation that's happening right now. Ghost of Yotei is a highly anticipated sequel of the 2020 Ghost of Tsushima. Developer Sucker Punch Productions had a massive success with their Sony-owned studio. Announced back in 2024, is set to release on October 2nd, 2025 this year on the PlayStation 5. It's an exclusive, obviously, and the game shifts focus on a new protagonist, a female samurai in 1603 Hokkaido, of course, which has its own controversies for a lot of players that really don't find the situation believable at all, no matter the vague and inaccurate historical references that are really not really references at all. But besides that point, this game is getting hyped because off the backs of Ghost of Tsushima, which was a groundbreaking game for the PlayStation that everyone loved. And the studio Sucker Punch has been benefiting from the rewards of creating that game. If you don't know Sucker Punch Studios, they have a solid reputation. They made Sly Cooper to infamous, but Ghost of Tsushima was their prize breakout hit, was praised for cultural respect. Yotei is building off the back of that success. It promises lo-fi samurai beats. It has collaborations with gigantic beer companies with tie-ins, Sapporo being one of them, a Japanese beer company, and has the same gameplay that people initially love, although a bit unrealistic coming from a female samurai. And I know what you're thinking, what does this have to do with Charlie Kirk and game devs hating gamers? If you don't know what happened a few days ago, Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, co-founder of Turning Point USA, a polarizing figure. People loved him, people hated him. He was in conservative politics, advocating for different stances that many people disagreed with. On September 10th, he was assassinated during a tour in Utah Valley University. He was answering questions, he was shot, FBI is investigating, and of course, this was a tragedy for everyone that actually loved his content. And worst of all, it was a celebration for people that have lost their humanity to politics and just want to see blood scattered across the street of their political enemies.
Please let the rumors be true. Let the gossip be reality. Please.
So on behalf of everybody else, I got this shit.
Stoked right now? You want to know why I'm so stoked? Go ahead and Google Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk was a Nazi. He was a fucking Nazi. And you know what kind of Nazi is the best Nazi? A dead one.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
You support Charlie Kirk's shooter?
Sure do. He does all a favor.
Would you shoot somebody like Charlie Kirk?
I would have killed him myself.
And this is what we saw in the gaming industry. We saw it from Sucker Punch Studio developers, where they were celebrating this stuff, saying, hooray, this is what we want. We want to see our political enemies bloodied and on the floor dying for their last breath with their children around. And this is the response that we saw all over Blue Sky Social, where enter Drew Harrison, senior staff character texture and look dev artist at Sucker Punch. She's worked on Ghost of Yotei, handling character designs, a key role in the AAA title. On Blue Sky, the fake Twitter, shortly after Charlie Kirk's death, she posted, I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows the bro got his back. This dark joke of referencing Luigi Mangione, shooter in another recent incident, was just the tip of the iceberg. It's what comes after it, where she continually reposted and derided Charlie Kirk and any of his past actions and everything else related to him, trying to antagonize anyone that was a fan of his. And this brought a lot of ire from a lot of people. And I think this is the thing that we saw went viral after people screenshotted some of their responses. There were calls for boycotts. People wanted to boycott Ghost of Yotei because of this situation. And I think this is the thing that we usually see in these heated moments. And I don't even think she was the worst of them all. I think it was a lot more mild, this response, because there's a lot of dark jokes on Twitter, but this is just the tip of the iceberg of the people. And this is the nicest response that I would have seen from a game dev. But from what we saw from other game devs, it was an out-and-out celebration where we had so much people commenting about their hatred towards this person. Even Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb came out and had his own celebratory tweet about, hey, they finally shot this anti-vaxxer in a divisive way where they're trying to put him down for his politics even after his death. And I think this is the thing that we see in bad taste so often with these organizations. Even the Kotaku founder joking about his terrible security at the function, and this is what happens when you talk trash to other people. And this is the situation we keep seeing with a lot of these liberals, a lot of these progressive activists, where they have a disdain and almost gleeful celebratory attitude towards the death of people that just simply don't agree with them. I think this is the state of politics that we're seeing right now. This is a long list of developers that are ready to see you die because they don't like what you believe in. And I think this is about a lot of the things that we keep seeing happening in the video gaming industry these past few years, where there's so much people that will have some built-in animosity against the gamers and they want to see the worst happen to them. And I think this is what we're seeing with Ghost of Yotei. This is what we're seeing with so much other people within the community that's surrounding gaming, like comic books and entertainment and movies, where we have DC Comics writer Gretchen Felker mocking the shooting and death of Charlie Kirk. And this is a person that writes comics for DC. They currently write the Red Hood series, which was recently canceled. And this is just reflective of what we always see from this side of the aisle. The side of the aisle that is now producing the mass amount of games out there. If you don't know who's producing these content, you can just look at Sucker Punch Productions. And they always have the obligatory all-female dev shot. Of course, they're not the only ones making the game, but it's just a representative of what's the core focus at the developer at the moment, where they're trying to represent the progressive values at the forefront of their political action. And that's why you see these constant shots of these blue hair activists put in the forefront and in control of some of the biggest series out there, because they represent the ideals of the current organization. And I think this is the thing that we constantly see in the video gaming industry. This thrusting of people that do not like gaming, that hate gamers, that wish for the worst for gamers at the forefront of the gaming world. They're journalists. They're writing articles trying to shape and change the gaming industry. They're activists and consultants. They fill the Ubisoft room for Assassin's Creed when Assassin's Creed was a franchise that catered to a lot of the old-fashioned gaming elements that we love. And even that was created by a woman at the time that understood that this is what gamers want, and now it's being developed by people that have no understanding of what the gamers want, that actually hate and disdain the gamer. And I think that is the thing that we see playing out on social media after the death of Charlie Kirk, where it's showing the real attitude of a lot of these political activists in the gaming industry, that they want to see anyone that disagrees with them 6 feet underground and they'll celebrate it. They have no empathy or emotions for your loss or your family or anything that happens to you. And I think this situation makes things clearer for gamers, where gamers have to realize the people that are working against you really don't care about your life. And you see that the opposite end of people that actually on the right, on the conservative side, that didn't like Charlie Kirk, that are sad about his death. And I think that is the dichotomy and difference that we're seeing right now, where the people on the progressive side really want the worst for you and your family, and they will have no remorse for any of their actions. And it's just showing that this is the state of gaming today. They don't care about your support. They actually hate you and hope that you do not support their games and rather see you dead than alive. And that is how psychotic their belief system is, where they know they won't survive if you don't buy their game, but they rather have that occur than you living and playing their game. And it makes sense for them to have this psychotic thinking, because the things they believe are borderline psychotic. They don't understand what a man or woman is. They don't understand economics. They don't understand capitalism. They don't understand communism. They don't understand the justice system. They want all criminals to be free. They want no borders, not understanding that you don't have a country if you don't have borders. And I think this is reflective of the psychopathy that we see developing within these group of people, where they're guided by principles and moral standards that have no low bar. And I think that's the thing that I'm getting here. And gamers that are planning to purchase their games need to give them what they want. You need to stop buying their games. I think this is immediately applicable to Ghost of Yotei. Even the people that are acting the role for some of the parts, they hate you. So I think gamers should give them what they want. They don't want us to be part of the gaming industry. We should probably leave them alone. And I think this is the thing that we keep seeing play out over and over again. We keep forgetting that, hey, gaming is just a small part of the influence that they have in society. They are the ones cheering on the deaths of people that they dislike, and they probably would cheer on your death because they dislike you too, even though you're a paying customer. And I think that is the astonishing thing that this case reveals to everyone. That's just my 2 cents on the situation. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you think this doesn't reveal anything at all. Maybe you think the Ghost of Yotei devs didn't say anything too egregious, but a lot of people around them said worse. And I think that is the thing that we're seeing that is being promoted right now, where it's a mocking of death, mocking of anyone that they disagree with, and a mocking of the gamers already who are supposed to be the paying customers that they're allegedly trying to court. But this is just my 2 cents. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.